You know what? Before I get started today, I want to welcome you to the conversation with Dr. Bobby and Mildred. But I want you to do a favor from me. I would like for you to like, share, submit, and follow. It's free. Share it with other people because I think we are going to share some things that will be significant for you, beneficial for you and others, and I would like for other people to know. If you notice that I'm wearing my uniform, some of the decorations from my uniform, I'm doing this not out of pride. I'm doing it because I'm grateful. I'm so grateful that God kept me. I'm grateful that God gave me the ability to go to war, come back home, and do some of the things that I'm doing. And I thought it was a good time to do that because 58 years ago, I was on a mountaintop in South Vietnam when Dr. Martin Luther King was assassinated. In 1969, I was with the 82nd Airborne Division practicing for civil rights violation movement. And I see that same thing happening now with the situation in Missouri, in California, and Chicago, and other places around the globe. I'm concerned that our nation has to do something different. And when I talk about the nation, I'm really not talking about just the government. I am talking about the people of America. If we don't do something, if we don't say something, then nothing will be done. So I thought it was a good time to say boots on the ground. This uniform depicts that I was an infantryman in Vietnam, boots on the ground. When I came back to America, boots on the ground. I fared sometime better in Vietnam than I did when I got back to America. But why am I so grateful? I am grateful because everything that I am, everything that I have achieved, the military made way for me to be able to do that. Let me explain. I graduated Sergeant Major's Academy, successful as a command sergeant major. I had an associate's degree that I got at the time of getting promotion into the realm of sergeant major. So education became something different for me because I was educated backwards. In other words, some of the things that I learned when I went to college and to the universities, I had lived. So I'm grateful to be able to share with you that now we're moving into a place that Martin Luther King said to Harry Belafonte 5 days before he was crucified, assassinated. That Harry, I believe that we have integrated into a burning house. Now, I believe that that word that he said to Harry Belafonte was something that he saw that was coming, and I believe we are right there at this season. So I would like for you to like, share, and follow because we're going to show you some of the things that's happening now that we really seeing that happened 58 years ago, but it's just in a different form, but it's the same thing by spirit, and we have to realize that it's going to take people being boots on the ground. And that doesn't mean out protesting. That means having a reverence one for another, sharing with one another, meeting the Lord so you can have the love that you need to love one another. We're going to have to educate ourselves in new ways. We're going to have to educate one another in ways that we understand that in 2026, I pose a question. What are we going to do as boots on the ground when the house burned down? I believe we're there. I believe we're at a place now that, as Martin Luther King said, it's either justice or non-existence. We're going to have to move into a new way and a new understanding. And as we continue with boots on the ground, we want to do that talking about two different realms of education that you need to be concerned with. And I think you all need to understand it's not so much education, but it's the type of education you receive. I believe God has blessed us with the ability to have one of the premier kingdom development institutions and places that you can get answers for real life situation that has been proven, that has been tested, and we have walked them out. So when I start talking about education, I'm really not talking about just going to school, being indoctrinated. I'm talking about finding out what your gift is in God, investing in your gift, developing it so it make room for you to prosper. Boots on the ground. It's the gifts of God that need to be developed, and now is the time. Music, as we were conversating earlier, we talked about the gifts. And we looked and say the gift is a bridge from identity to fulfillment. When we start talking about that, how would you address that now is the time that you would say that we need to focus on boots on the ground?
Okay. First of all, I thank God for allowing us to be back in the studio.
Thank you.
And I want to back up some more with the conversation that when you introduced the program for today is that I think you said Missouri, but I think it's
Minnesota.
Minnesota.
Okay. Thank
so
you.
I want to straighten that out because we don't want Minnesota, Missouri, thinking that we're saying that they having some issues with having protests or whatever. Yeah. But I want to clear that up.
Thank you for the adjustment.
Minnesota. Concerning the what we need to do with the boots on the ground as to what's going on now, as to what we need to do, we need to basically have on the whole armor of God that we'll be able to stand as to what is going on now in the earth and on the earth. So therefore, we just got to be able to stand. That's why we have boots on the ground. So having boots on the ground, we still have to have on the whole armor of God that we be able to stand.
Right. And one of the things that I like to share with the people is whatever your background is, whatever you have done, look back at your past, see how you've been educated and what you have walked through. I can assure you that's part of the preparation for what you need to do now.
Right. Because as you were saying, I don't know what you got there for now, but there's two different realms of learning. And we know that those two different realms of learning are natural and spiritual.
Right. Some people think one is important and the other isn't.
No, both of them are very much important.
Very much.
I was just reflecting back just a few minutes ago before you even got started to mention me that, when we're learning in that natural, we had to learn how to read, we had to learn how to write, we had to learn how to tie a shoe, we had to learn all these things in the natural. So in the spiritual realm, we also have to learn certain things in the spiritual realm. And we try it by the Spirit. So there's a natural learning and there's a spiritual learning, and they both come together because we're in this world but not of this world.
Right.
So we had to know how to live here in the natural, and we had to know how to live in the spirit realm.
And that's one of the things that I talk about in the book, The New World Order. In other words, when people start talking about New World Order, it's not talking about the Illuminati. We're talking about that God has given us the wisdom and the knowledge to walk out the wisdom that he gives us in the natural world.
Right.
And in order to do that, we understand that they use a lot of analogies about the farmer.
Mm-hmm.
And they do that about the seed you sow it in the ground to have a harvest.
Right.
And I'm blessed to have been raised on a farm,
Mm-hmm.
which I didn't like. And I was trying to get off, but I learned some things that really carried me through life. I went in the military and I became a soldier, and everything I learned and developed, I see it being used in my life.
Right.
So when people see me walking and it looks like I'm proud, that's just a soldier.
That's just a soldier.
And really, it's not pride, it's a learned behavior
Mm-hmm.
that really I did it as unto the glory of God.
Right.
The other thing is, now I'm transitioned into ministry, and I'm grateful that God chose me. He could have chose anybody. I mean, when I see that, I begin to see that in the spiritual realm, I perceive that God has given me phenomenal insight and revelation. Not only for things that's happening now, but for things that's going to happen in the future.
Right.
And he has equipped me. Why? Because I was willing. Now, here's what people have to understand. That the gifting of God, everyone has.
Right.
But in order for them to know what that gift is, they're going to have to be connected to the gifts of the apostle and the prophet. Because somebody has to be able to see in you
Right.
the gifted ability.
Mm-hmm.
And then they have to be able to hear and help you develop that so it can cause you to be productive in this world.
That's why a lot of people don't know their gifts if they're not someone around to see their gift, like an apostle and a prophet. They will see that gift in that person. That person be doing things, not realize what they're doing, and they don't even know why they're doing them, but that gift that is in them,
Right,
operating, and they don't realize that that's the gift in them operating until someone tells them that you have the gift of so-and-so, or you had and that's how they find out. Because I didn't know I was, but I knew I was doing some things that, I didn't know it was a gift. I just knew that I was doing them.
So when we look at education, what we've actually learned in America, that education was indoctrination.
Most definitely.
In other words, it was indoctrinated for you to learn how to do what they wanted you to do.
What they wanted you to do, not what you was dispatched here to do.
Right. So when we look at education is merely the identifying of an individual gift and developing character in that gift so their gift will make room for them.
Make room. Mm-hmm.
And when you find out what your gift is, here's what I would say to all of you. Invest in your gift. Let me say it again. Invest in your gift because you're the first partaker of your gift.
Right.
So if you're going to invest in stop investing in other people's, invest in your gift. Invest in your potential. And when you invest in your potential, pursue it greater than anything else. Most people work harder for a job and somebody else than they do developing their own self.
Well, that's what they were taught in school.
That's indoctrination.
You need to learn how to do this so you can get a job when you finish school.
So there is people that really don't understand what their gifting is, and they don't even understand what the ascension gifts are.
No.
So they don't see a reason why they go to a church for, say, the gathering under a pastor, a teacher, an evangelist, apostle, and a prophet. But what they have to realize is that these are ascension gifts. And I'm going to say it strange. The Bible says they are God in your midst. So that means they should be hearing the wisdom of God to be able to communicate to you something you can't see.
Right. And that's why the 5-4 ministry is very important to have in any ministry.
Right.
The 5-4 ministry gift should be in operation.
Right. Because what they're there is to equip the saints.
Equip the saints.
For the work of the ministry.
For the work of the ministry.
So that everybody can find and fulfill their God-given purpose in the earth. Here's what people have to also understand. Your hope is not in what you can do with your hand. And your hope is not heaven.
Right.
Your hope is heaven comes to you, give you power to fulfill while you're on the planet, and then give you the guarantee that when you die, you'll be with the Lord.
Right.
If people ever get to that far, they'll start living a joyful life. They'll start being grateful. They'll start being thankful for being able to wake up in the morning. They'll be grateful for whatever God allows them to do. And what they realize is that the gift must be developed. Because if you have potential, that does nothing if it's not developed.
It's not developed, right.
Yeah. Let's just use the studio where we're in here. Lamar coming at you. If Lamar did not develop his gift and be able to help us do what we need to do, then what's happening now, our gifts is blessing him, his gift is blessing us, and the world is getting blessed by the both of us.
That's because the gifts are complementing one another.
That's it. So a gift has to be submitted to a gift because no gift can actually fulfill itself by itself.
Not by itself, no.
So that's the reason why you need to be connected to people. And so when you see that, you have to realize that when I look at, I was a farmer in Garner, North Carolina. And now God has caused me to be on a platform where the world can hear. And what you realize is that most people have a problem with identity. They don't know who they are.
Right.
So they let everybody else define them. They let them identify them by the name they call them.
Right.
But that's not their identity.
That's not.
So if they don't know their identity from God, then anybody can give you an identity. What people don't realize, I was a soldier, but that wasn't my identity. That's what I did.
Right.
You was administrator in the school system. That's what you did, but that's not who you were.
No.
You are a son of the living God.
Son of the living God.
So whenever people understand you are a son of the living God, then you have to realize you have a purpose. And it says our purpose is to provide, here's what we're doing together. Our purpose is to provide a centered development that assists children, adults, to discover their purpose and help them to develop that. So what I'm doing now is beginning to declare people how you can find your gift, who you can connect to with that gift, and there needs to be an apostle in your life.
Definitely.
Because if there's no apostle in your life, then that means you have nobody looking into you to decide, to declare what they see that you can't see.
Is that the word? Intimacy.
Intimacy.
I can see in you.
Intimacy.
Yeah, intimacy.
So you can help me.
Yeah.
So, but it don't have to just be an apostle that does that. Anybody can see into you what you can't see.
Right.
You seem to see what you see when you look in the mirror. But when they see you, they see something else.
Right.
And most people see more in other people and refuse to see what's in them. So the question is, who are you?
Son of God.
So when you understand that, most people have a problem with the mistaken identity. They think they're black, white. They think they're doctor, lawyer. That's what you do.
Yeah.
That's what you qualify. So what they don't understand, because they don't know who they are, they take on an identity of what they do. They don't understand we're not human doers, we're human beings.
Beings, right.
So you got to be something.
Right.
And to be something is connected to the God in which you were created.
We're made in the image of him.
So the other thing is where'd you come from?
Come from God.
See, that's easier said than done.
Yeah.
Because some people say you came from an ape.
No, I didn't go from.
Well, see now people would.
Yeah, they might have.
well, but that's the issue is. But if you don't know infinitively,
yeah, I remember.
Definitively,
I remember that.
People can say, "I ain't that. I'm not that." But yet, here's what I could say to people: You're a slave. No, I'm not.
Mm-hmm.
Are you sure? See, they don't understand. You need to go further in your identity than just what you think you know. Now, the truth of the matter is, somebody else tell you how to do in your life. You're a slave to the one that's talking to you.
You know, most of the time when you say that about you're a slave, the first thing people come in mind is in chains, you know, and in a cage, or you know, that's the first thing come in your mind. Well, it used to come in my mind with Kuta Kinte, and everybody knew he was a slave.
Right.
So when you
he was over there.
He was over there. But when you said slave, that the first thing comes to people's mind, like I'm in chains. You know, somebody over me, somebody controlling me.
Right.
I don't know. I don't have any freedom.
Right.
Per se.
So when people don't realize that who you are should identify with what you do. And if we're made in the likeness and the image of God, we should be doing the things that God does.
Right, because we're made in an image.
So we should look to him as the pattern.
Right.
So if you don't know that pattern, you really don't know how to be free.
Right. Because
it says the truth shall make you free.
That's truth. Right.
So then you ask the other question. What is truth? I'm not putting you on the spot. I'm actually asking the audience and I'm asking you at the same time. I'm asking, who are you? And you say, I'm a son of the living God. And you should know the truth, and the truth shall make you see what is truth.
Well, you know, Paul asked Jesus that same question.
Yes, he did.
I mean, he was looking right at truth.
Yeah. But then Jesus turned around and said, "Thou sayest it."
Yeah, so he the truth, the way, and the life.
So what he really was challenging to me, because Pilate didn't want to believe he was true. People don't want to believe it now. So what is truth? They'll tell me, well, the truth is, all kind of things. Truth is the scripture. Truth is the Bible when somebody wrote the Bible.
Yes.
Truth, let me make sure you understand. Truth is a person. Have you met him?
Jesus is the person.
I've met him. So I know him. So the real issue is, if you have not met him, you don't know truth yet. You want to love, but you ain't met love. When you meet love, then love is easy.
Right.
You can't try to love, you have to love.
You just have to be love.
Yeah. So you go on and says, where'd you come from? In other words, here's what you have to realize. You were in him, in God, before he ever created anything. You're not an afterthought. God had you in mind when he created everything, because he already had a purpose and a place and a plan for you before the world ever was created. Now, what people don't realize, in Genesis 1 and 2, whenever that was over, everything was finished. And God said it was very good.
Very, very good.
So the only thing beyond Genesis 1 and 2 is expansion, not creation.
Right.
In other words, he created it, and then in Genesis 3:15, he made a promise after Adam fell, because people don't realize sin didn't come into the world by the devil, it came by Adam.
By Adam.
So Adam didn't do it. What he did, he agreed with creation and lost his relationship with God. Therefore, he became, and she became, Adam and Eve, the accuser of the brethren. So we go on and says, you came from God. And what you have to realize, that in the beginning, God, there was nothing in the beginning for God.
In the beginning, God.
In the beginning, God. So people say, what about the pre-Adamic fall? That's a lie.
In the beginning, God.
There was nothing in the beginning of God but what was in the mind of God and what he spoke into existence. In the beginning, God. So where are we going? So people have to realize that you are in the world. If you came out of God and you came into the world for a purpose, are you walking in your purpose? Are you still looking for your purpose?
Mm.
Now, here is the thing that you have to realize. You came into the earth because you were a purpose.
Right.
God purposed you.
Mm.
So we went on to says, is there any purpose for human existence? Is there a reason for humans?
Yes.
What you say it would be?
What is there any purpose for human? Well, the original plan of God is the purpose for human.
Okay.
So God wanted one of the people.
Okay.
And we are those people that He wanted.
So evidently people must not know that's true because they're trying to make robots to replace us.
They're trying to make robots to replace us, and they're trying to get back.
But the real issue is robots can't replace humans.
No.
Now somebody got to have another conversation.
Mm.
Because if robots can replace you and it can replace what human does, then where does that leave humans?
Non-existent.
Non-existence. So people are investing in something that's going to cause them to be non-existent.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I got another thing for them.
Mm.
If a robot's going to do the manual labor, then what you going to do? I suggest, I was thinking about this. If that's the case, then somehow or another, you got to let AI work for you.
Mm-hmm. But we supposed to have dominion on the earth, not robots.
But we keep giving it away.
Yeah.
We keep creating our own destruction.
Exactly.
Because the lazier we get, the less we do, the more that we're not needed.
Right.
As far as society is concerned.
That's right.
But God ain't changed his mind. He wanted a family of sons. He'll have that.
Right.
Because if they don't know who they are and they don't really have a relationship with God, they don't understand God needs them because God is a spirit.
Right.
And he needs a body. They focus more on the devil having them than God.
I tell you, every time you hear the word devil, you don't help him say God.
So they don't realize that the devil is a created being. So if you give yourself to him, you actually refuse to allow the creator to be one with you.
And people really don't realize the more they mention devil, it's in the air. It's create what it create. Start speaking God, the living God, the true God, and let that be in the air instead of every time you open your mouth, the devil did this, the devil gonna do that, devil.
So the problem is not the devil and heaven is not the destination. I mean, people might look at me and say, what? I ain't talking about what you've heard. I'm talking about what's true.
True.
Jesus defeated the devil on the cross.
On the cross. Everything was done on the cross.
And he really gave his blood to the Father, and he went to prepare a place for us.
Right.
If he prepared a place for us, he says, I'm going to come again and receive you unto myself. And what people don't realize is simpler than you might think. The place that he prepared for us is one with him in the Father.
Yes.
So it's in him in the Father, that's our secure place.
That's our secure place. That's why he said, in my Father's house, there are many mansions. Mansions are people.
It's dwelling place.
Dwelling place.
So there's many dwelling places. So if that be the case, then history must be taking us back into God. If we came out of God, we came in the earth for a purpose.
For a purpose.
And we're going back into God because that was his original plan. He never intended for us to be separated from him.
No.
But Adam, listening to creation through Eve, and they both lost their relationship with God and lost their fellowship with God. And God says, I got this. And in Genesis 3:15, he promised the serpent. Now, here's what people need to understand clearly. is that when Adam and Eve listened to the serpent, they start accusing God.
Yeah.
Adam said, it's this woman that you gave me.
That woman you gave me.
She gave me to me and I ate.
You gave me her.
Yeah. But then the woman turned around and accused the creation. And it says, that serpent beguiled me.
Mm-hmm.
So they don't realize that the serpent beguiled them and they became one with the serpent and they began to accuse each other and God. So y'all want to know 666? That's it. Spirit, soul, body. It's humanity. So what you got to realize is that if you accuse somebody, then you are an instrument of the adversary. So careful what you say to God's people.
Yes, being an accuser.
Yeah.
You know, that was one of the words that we had last night in Bible study.
Yeah.
Being an accuser.
Yeah. Accuse. How you going to accuse what God created? I'm grateful for what God created. I don't care how they act, don't care what they are. I'm grateful for them. Why? It's because they're God's creation.
God's creation.
Not only are they God's creation, they're one with me in the Spirit of God. So it goes on and says, what's our mission? Why are we here? Why are we here? Let me read it. It says, to declare the glory of God in the earth, directing all mankind towards the purpose of God and show them how it fit into the purpose of God. One of the reasons why America's having struggles now is because what God wants and what America's trying to get is one and the same. God wanted a united nation.
Right.
And man wanted to have a united nation without God. Can't happen.
Will not happen.
Because if you're in competition with God, you're going to lose.
You already done lost.
Yeah. So the chaos is you have not because you ask not, and when you ask, you consume it upon your life. So here's what's happening now. We begin to realize that this treasure is in earthen vessels.
Earthen vessels.
That the excellency will be of God and not of us. Because everything that we do, everything that we have, everything that exists is God's.
And the earthen vessels, Jesus Christ and the Holy Spirit is that treasure that's in us.
It is in us. So what we realize is that God is really summoning us now. We are realizing that our place of refuge is in Him. Our relationship with the head and the body is what God desires.
Right.
You'll know them by their love one for another.
And God is our refuge.
Yeah, in Him.
In Him. And the strength.
So why are they trying to go, why are they trying to leave the planet?
Oh, I have no idea.
They're looking for another place where they already are. Especially the church.
Yeah, the church, yeah.
Acts 17 says, in Him we move, in Him we have our being. You're in Him. Rest. Be secure. In the season and the times of God, you will walk out what He says. Our desire is God's desire to minister spirit, soul, and body to His people. And when we see that, we realize that this is 1 Thessalonians 5:23. We want to keep all of that which pertaineth unto Him. Justice Fellowship International, and we'll bring this to a close and a crescendo, because we want to talk about the things that you need to understand, that you need to be able to do while you're on planet Earth. And this gospel of the kingdom must be preached, because you got to understand, Jesus prayed that the Holy Spirit would not take us out of the world, but would keep us.
Keep us.
So you're going to be kept on the planet until your purpose is fulfilled. It's not going to escape. You're going to go through tribulation because it's in you.
Right.
Because you realize that it is a ministry of reconciliation, and we are the representation of God to tell people, be you reconciled to God. With conversation with Dr. Bobby and other guests, we're going to bring you into an understanding that this thing called God is simpler than you might think. I want you to like share, follow, subscribe. It's free because we want to have a conversation and we want to give you truths that you can walk out now on planet Earth. Wow, it's boots on the ground. I'm grateful.